The world is watching the sea again, not for trade or travel, but for a mission of humanity. Nearly 500 people from 46 countries have come together to do something extraordinary. They're not soldiers, they're not politicians. They're ordinary citizens, activists, doctors, engineers, and human rights workers, sailing together under one mission: to break the blockade on Gaza. This is the global Sumud flotilla, and their journey is already making waves around the world. From the very moment the ship set sail, the atmosphere was electric. Flags from dozens of nations fluttered in the wind, from Latin America to Europe, Asia to Africa. Different languages filled the air, but one message united them all: freedom for Gaza. Each person aboard carries not just food and medical aid, but also a message of defiance, a statement that the suffering of millions cannot be ignored anymore. The flotilla isn't just a group of boats. It's a moving symbol of global resistance. Sumud means steadfastness in Arabic, the idea of standing firm even in the face of impossible odds. And that's exactly what this mission represents. Ordinary people refusing to stay silent in the face of injustice. Their destination? Gaza, one of the most densely populated and heavily restricted regions on Earth. For over a decade, Gaza has lived under a near-total blockade, limiting access to basic goods, medical supplies, and humanitarian aid. The United Nations has called the situation unlivable. Yet, despite repeated warnings, the crisis continues to worsen. Hospitals under strain, families displaced, and power outages lasting up to 18 hours a day. So why risk everything to sail there? The organizers of the global Sumud flotilla say it's not just about delivering aid. It's about challenging silence. It's about showing the world that the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is not a forgotten issue. These ships are carrying medicine, food, and essential supplies, but they're also carrying hope, courage, and international solidarity. Every passenger aboard knows the risks. Previous flotillas have faced naval blockades, detainment, and even deadly encounters. Yet despite the danger, hundreds still signed up, from Norway, Spain, South Africa, Malaysia, the US, and dozens of other nations. Their message is clear: we will not be silent anymore. Among the 497 people are doctors, journalists, human rights lawyers, and even a few members of parliament from various countries. They've come together not as representatives of governments, but as individuals, citizens of the world, standing up for humanity. Their diversity makes this mission even more powerful. When voices from so many corners of the globe unite for a single cause, it sends a message that no border, no blockade, and no political pressure can silence. As the flotilla made its way across the Mediterranean, it drew global attention, both admiration and controversy. Supporters call it a beacon of courage, a humanitarian act in the face of indifference. Critics, however, call it provocation, a political stunt that risks escalating tensions in an already volatile region. But to those on board, this mission isn't about politics, it's about people. About mothers who've lost children, about hospitals without power, about lives cut off from the world. The journey hasn't been easy. The flotilla has faced warnings, radio messages urging them to turn back, and constant monitoring by naval forces. Yet their determination hasn't wavered. Videos shared from onboard show people singing, praying, and holding up signs reading "End the Siege" and "Freedom for Gaza." One volunteer from Canada said, "We're not afraid of what lies ahead. What's happening in Gaza is far more terrifying than anything we might face at sea." The organizers have emphasized that this is a peaceful, non-violent mission. Every participant has undergone training in non-violent resistance and communication. They've been briefed on what to do if intercepted: remain calm, film everything, and never engage in confrontation. Their strength lies in their unity and their message, not in force. As the flotilla edges closer to its destination, global media attention continues to grow. Hashtags supporting the mission have trended across social media, with people around the world sharing messages of solidarity. In cities like London, Johannesburg, and Kuala Lumpur, supporters have held rallies and vigils, calling for the flotilla's safety and the end of Gaza's isolation. For many watching from afar, This feels like history repeating itself. Previous flotillas, most notably the Mavi Marmara in 2010, ended in tragedy with deadly clashes at sea. That memory hangs heavy in the air. But the difference this time, organizers say, is scale and solidarity. The global Sumud flotilla is one of the largest and most internationally diverse efforts ever attempted. The response from governments has been mixed. Some have issued statements urging restraint and calling for the safe passage of humanitarian aid. Others have warned their citizens not to participate, citing safety risks. Yet, despite the diplomatic caution, the global conversation has reignited, and that, in itself, is a victory for the mission. One of the organizers said before departure, "Even if we're stopped, even if we don't reach Gaza, we've already succeeded, because the world is talking again." And he's right. The very act of sailing, of defying the silence, is an act of awareness. Every news headline, every social media post, every conversation sparked by this flotilla helps shine a light on a humanitarian crisis too long ignored. But make no mistake, this journey is far from over. The seas ahead are unpredictable, and the political waters even more so. Each mile forward brings new uncertainty. Will the ships reach their destination? Will they be stopped? Will their message be heard? These questions linger, and the world is waiting for answers. What's undeniable is that the global Sumud flotilla has already become more than a humanitarian effort. It's a symbol of unity in a divided world, a reminder that no matter how distant a conflict may seem, humanity still finds a way to connect. It shows that compassion can cross oceans, that people can come together not for profit or politics, but for principle. As one activist on board said, "We're not just sailing for Gaza. We're sailing for the idea that no people should live under siege, that no child should grow up in fear, that no border should decide who deserves freedom." Those words capture the very spirit of this movement, a spirit that refuses to be broken, no matter how rough the seas become. And as the ships continue their course, watched by satellites, journalists, and millions online, one thing is clear: whether they reach Gaza or not, the global Sumud flotilla has already made history. It has reminded the world of the power of collective humanity, of empathy turned into action. So, as you watch this story unfold, remember, this isn't just about a group of ships. It's about a movement of people who believe that compassion still matters, that justice is worth sailing for, and that silence is never an option. If you believe in that too, if you believe the world needs more courage, more unity, and more humanity, then don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and spread this story. Because awareness is the first step toward change, and change always starts with people who care.